Hi everyone, my name is Sienna and this is Sienna Reacts. So today we are back with more learning about other countries and that type of thing. So today I'm reacting to American girls versus European girls. How do they compare? I'm gonna be honest, I've never been to Europe before, and I know very few Europeans. I know more male Europeans than I do females. I don't know how that works, but I feel like it's gonna all be like the same for the most part, or like in reality I think it's all going to be the same. But then you have like the stereotypes, like the Slav squad and like that type of thing. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead, let's get started.
Separated by the Atlantic Ocean, American women aren't much different from their European cousins, but it's almost impossible to compare women from all across Europe, as the continent covers a real range of nationalities.
Exactly. Exactly. So if it's impossible, so we're getting stereotypes, cool.
Cultures and ethnicities. So be warned that this show may make some broad generalizations, which we hope you'll excuse. What we're attempting to do today is compare European and American women. What makes them tick? How do they behave? And what are the similarities and differences between them? That's what we'll try to find out in today's Infographics Show, as we look at American girls versus European girls.
I'm very confused why the European is like dressed up as a banker, and then the American looks like she's going to school. Like,
before breaking down the differences between the sexes, let's take a look at the general similarities and differences between Americans and Europeans. As we all probably know, Europeans and Americans share a whole bunch of similarities, owing to ancestral lineage and cultural similarities. They both have a broad commitment to democratic principles and share economic alliances. Both continents enjoy reasonably high standards of living and are considered developed by the rest of the world. There are some differences when it comes to religious quirks, free expression, sense of entitlement, and the morality concept.
What is sense of entitlement? What does that mean?
Americans believe that they are generally in control of their destiny, whereas the rest of the world, except the UK, accept that powers outside of their control are dependent upon their success. Americans are generally more independent and ambitious. In a 2014 Pew survey, 57% of Americans believe their success is in their own hands. Yet Americans at just over half the...
They said this right after a recession? Okay, cool.
Population see religion as more important than their European cousins do. In France, only 14% of people consider religion important, compared with 53% in the USA.
So that's actually gone down. I think this is a few years old, but I think now more than at any point in history, it's like less than half of Americans would consider themselves religious. So it's actually like 49% now instead of 53 just a couple years ago.
World statistics show that there is a strong link between people's religiosity and their wealth. Religion is generally more important to countries with lower GDPs. Almost 40% of Americans feel that sex between unmarried couples is immoral, whereas in the EU it is less of an issue. So are American women more prudish? Well, it depends on who you talk to and where you are. Many American women are the complete opposite of prudes, being independent and fun-loving in multiple situations. So with all of these observations, please note that they are just that, observations and not rules. So let's take a look at some of the differences. Both America and Europe are big places, and while it's easy to generalize about people and places, it's also fair to say that American women have more in common with American women, and the same is true for European women with European women.
I was confused for a second because he was like, American women have more in common with American women. I was like, yeah.
Only real oddity in Europe is the UK, where women seem to behave more like Americans rather than their European cousins. But in general, there are some uniform similarities that separate Europeans from Americans in terms of attitude and behavior. When it comes to looks, women are more uniform. In Rome or Barcelona, women normally wear a skirt of similar length, a pair of reasonably high heels, a blouse or top, and long beautiful hair. In America and in London, however, women come in many different styles. Thin thin women, overweight women, women in goth or emo garb with black eyeliner and dyed hair, Americans seem to adopt the counterculture more readily, whereas European women tend to adopt a more traditionally feminine style. It's not unusual to see a girl with a mohawk and a skateboard on the New York subway or the London Underground, whereas this would be considered unusual in, say, Budapest. While Americans dress for comfort, European women are conscious of class and fashion, even if they're simply walking to the store or going to the gym.
No one's wearing heels to the corner store. I refuse to believe that. I'm sorry.
Europeans dress for style, and unless they are on the beach, most European women wouldn't consider wearing flip-flops or thongs. Unless they are participating in sports or working out, sneakers are not normally worn by Europeans. European women tend to wear flats with closed or open toes or high heels in most everyday situations. However, unlike most rules, there are exceptions. For social gatherings, American women will dress just as smart as their European counterparts, and often
this sounds silly.
outstyle them. Women in Europe are generally more educated than in America. University education is more affordable in Europe, with many countries having free college programs. This doesn't mean that European women are any more intelligent than American women, but they generally have the opportunity to learn more in Europe. Most European women speak at least 2 languages, and sometimes as many as 5 or 6. Europeans generally have a good understanding of history.
Okay. This is something that it's always like people bring it up, but I don't get it. Like, in Europe, if you get on a plane and you fly for an hour, you will be in a different country. More than likely, you'll be in a different country that speaks a different language. In the US, I could get on a plane in New York City, fly for 6 hours, and land in Los Angeles, still in the United States, still in the same country, and speaking the same language. Like, I never understand this, like, oh, Americans, they only know one language. Yeah. Yeah. Also, this isn't taking into account all of like people who've like immigrated, or like people who are like first gen or second gen, because they also usually know multiple languages. Like, their like mother tongue usually is not English. So it's confusing. It's confusing. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me either way.
And geography outside of their own countries, and most Europeans have traveled to other countries before they reach their teenage years. Separated from the world by 2 oceans, many Americans never leave their country of birth. Bizarrely, and despite their lack of travel, American women are often more independent than European women. In social situations, American women tend to be more outgoing and curious, making them more fun at parties and social gatherings. Americans have a sense of adventure and liberty unmatched by women from other nations. In the States, a second or third marriage isn't uncommon, but looking at divorce statistics from 2014, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Luxembourg, the Czech Republic, and Hungary all had worse divorce rates than the US. In general, American women and European women get divorced at similar rates. European women are on average better looking than American women, according to some independent observers. America has problems with obesity among the young. This is not as much a problem in Europe at present. Of course, our perception of what is beautiful is a personal choice, but taking into account what seems to be the movie star and magazine standard, Europe trumps America. Riding the tram in
Sure, but it's very confusing that he's like mentioning movie star standard, but the movie stars in question are American because they come from Hollywood. Like, whatever. Anyway, that's not important. Whatever. This is stupid. Anyway.
Amsterdam. The average commuter might be surrounded by slim and attractive women. In Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and former Soviet satellite countries, it's possible to wander around for a while without encountering an overweight, unattractive female. European women are usually approachable, knowing that conversation between a male and a female is not a potential sexual advance. American women women are often more wary of advances from strangers. European women often feel that being seduced is an appealing validation of their sexual attractiveness and fertility rather than a violation of their rights. A European woman will normally tell you straight up if they're interested in dating and won't subscribe to.
This is so bad. I mean, I know who made this, but like, what? Is someone coming up to you? Like someone coming up to you and flirting with you is like a reaffirmation of your fertility? Excuse, whatever. I didn't come here to be triggered.
To what is termed flaky behavior. When it comes to dating and hanging out, an American girl might be flirtatious and open about her feelings. Americans like to call things as they see them. Europeans, on the other hand, may be more reserved and mysterious about their feelings.
Wait, didn't he just say like Europeans are more likely to tell you what they think or like how it is, and then now you're saying like they're more reserved with their okay, whatever. This is cool.
Guy dating a European woman may have to rely on his spider senses to unlock the mysterious puzzle that's in her mind. As we mentioned above, these generalizations cannot be proven by science, so we need your input to keep the discussion moving. So join in the discussion. What do you think about American and European?
This was stupid. Okay. A lot is happening, and it was kind of stupid. And like the generalizations were like heavy generalizations, and it was like, oh, you could walk around countries. You could you could walk around like parks, and you could walk around countries for a long time and not see an ugly person, but the ugly mandated that they were fat, and that made them ugly. Okay, whatever. That's one thing, whatever about that. But also like European girls, tell it like it is. 5 seconds later, European women, they keep reserved, and they like the men have to use their spidey senses to figure out what they're thinking. Like I thought it was going to be like, oh, like maybe like Americans versus Europeans, like talking about like the height, like when's like the average age that they get married, like who's more likely to get divorced. Like I thought it was going to be like that, and not European women get dressed up to go to the store. Anyway, we're gonna end here because I'm just gonna keep criticizing things because whatever. But let me know what you think in the comments. Please be nice. If they're rude, you're just gonna get shadow banned. I'm not gonna deal with it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, anyway, bye bye.